So here we are with Behind the Masterpiece. We're very excited for our friends at the Artist Series Concerts of Sarasota and their 30th anniversary that's coming up. And you can see them and find them at artistseriesconcerts.org. Hello, hi, Jeffrey Kinn, Sarasota Rising Living Arts Festival, Sarasota, and I get to talk with my friends like Daniel Jordan. Our paths have kind of crossed a little bit just throughout the years. I'll be at a concert or I'll be working on a project, and then all of a sudden you're first chair somewhere. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's great to be with you, and it's an honor to be a part of this program with you. I wear many hats in this town. I am the Director of Artistic Planning for Artist Series Concerts of Sarasota. I am also the concert master of the Sarasota Orchestra. I play all over the place with Key Chorale, with Choral Artists of Sarasota, with the Sarasota Ballet, with the Sarasota Opera Orchestra. I sort of consider myself a house violinist for our community. And I say that with the utmost respect for this incredible community of artists. And I feel like I've gotten to do a lot of things over my 26 years in Sarasota, and have gotten to work with a lot of different people. I've worked with Florida Studio Theater, all kinds of things that have made for a very unique and enriching musical life for myself.
So 26 years, that was obviously going to be one of my questions. So what brought you down? How did you know?
I started when I was 4, obviously.
Yeah, good. Yes, you do look great for your age.
I was a violinist at the New World Symphony in Miami Beach, and Sarasota Orchestra at the time was called Florida West Coast Symphony, and they were looking for a concert master.
I remember that.
And this was 1998, and their music director, Leif Bjalland, was looking around to see who might be a good fit, and he listened to a lot of people perform, play, audition, and I was offered a 1-year position as the concertmaster of the Florida West Coast Symphony. And so I moved to Miami Beach, having no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought it would be for a year, and then I won the full-time position as concertmaster, and stayed here, and I've kind of been here ever since. And it's been a really, really rewarding experience to spend my musical career here. I mean, how lucky are we to get to live in this town and be around all these great arts organizations.
So you feel challenged here? That's always because we are in a smaller environment, but do you feel artistically challenged?
Well, I've always said that this is a small town, and all the good things that come along with that, with big city big city sensibilities, great food, great culture. Obviously, we've got the beaches and some of the really fantastic things that you can do to be outside all year round, which is really nice. It's been a wonderful place for me. I have a family now, a 12-year-old son named Spencer. It's been a really nice place for him to grow up as well.
So was music always your dream then? Was that always so 20? So you have a kid, and so obviously you're raising a musical family. Were you raised in a musical family?
I was not. No, my mother was a lawyer. My father was an economist. My brother's a lawyer. I'm the only musician that's come out of my family
so far.
But it was one of those things where, you put your kid into music to see what they might enjoy and to try and develop them in a particular way. And I took to it and was good at it. And I just never really stopped doing it. And there was a time when I was 12 years old, actually. This is a good story. I didn't like it because, we don't really like, as musicians, don't the practice room is not our favorite thing to do.
Of course.
So being by yourself, practicing your scales and all the things that you have to do to be able to learn the technique of your instrument is not the fun part. The fun part is making music with others and performing. And so I was getting really tired of all the practicing. I wanted to be outside playing with my friends. I didn't understand why I was having to practice 2 hours every day at that age. And so I was just complaining and complaining and complaining. And at a certain point, my father took the violin away and said, you don't want to do this anymore. I'm not going to listen to your complaining anymore. And for a couple weeks, that was great. I didn't miss it at all. And then I started to miss it. And I started to look around for it, and I couldn't find it. He had hidden it. And I finally, after 3 weeks, I had to go to him and say, could I have the violin back? And he said, yes, you may, but I'm not going to make you practice anymore. It's going to be up to you. And he never had to ask me to practice again. And it was my decision after that. And I went to a boarding arts high school called Interlochen Arts Academy and in Michigan. And that was where I really started to realize how much I loved this art form and this I started to think, okay, well, maybe I should do this for college. And so I started auditioning for music conservatories. And one step led to another where I started to think, okay, well, maybe I could do this for a career. And here we are, all these years later, and I'm still getting to play the violin for a living, which is really nice.
Wow. So your college career, was that Cleveland? Is that correct?
It was. Well, I actually first came to Florida. I spent 2 years at a conservatory called the Herod Conservatory, which is now the Herod Conservatory at Lynn University in Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay.
And Boca was an odd place to go to college starting out because there wasn't the it's not a young person's town,
Yeah,
let's say.
really. Hello.
And so I spent 2 years there, and then decided I wanted to be in a more traditional, bigger community. So I transferred to the Cleveland Institute of Music, and I got my bachelor's and master's degrees from Cleveland. And then I got a job, my first job with the New World Symphony, as I said, in Miami, and then was there for a year and then moved to Sarasota.
Was there ever anybody that you can now look back at your career and say, wow, if it wasn't for that person, I never would have done this, or I never would have made that decision? Or because I always find that there's usually a person or two that I know that your dad did some great psychology there on you. I mean, so bless him. I mean, all parents could learn from that. But was there ever a professor or somebody that either called you out or supported you in a special way?
Yeah, I think for almost any artist or athlete or anybody that does something from a very young age in order to be able to have a career at that in that field, you can't do it without your parents, and you can't do it without some really wonderful teachers. And I had both. I had parents that were very supportive of me, both financially and in terms of the time required to drive me to lessons and rehearsals and concerts and competitions. And then also I had some teachers that were really, really supportive of me and really provided opportunities for me to grow and develop. And I also feel like there was the music itself was something that was really, it just spoke to me. I saw the reactions of the audiences when I would perform. So the people I was around, performing with and performing for, that also kind of led me down this path to think, well, I could make a difference somehow in the world with what I do, and there's something meaningful about that too.
I got to tell you, you really hit on something major, and it is for actors, singers, musicians. There are those times, there's those points where you realize that what you do is important. And yes, it may be making an audience laugh or cry, but you know what? You're also educating people at the same time. There's all these different things that you're able to do for people, and And I know sometimes, we should be more thankful, for that audience. And luckily here in Sarasota, we have an audience.
For artist series concerts, I want to create an experience that's going to be different from maybe what you would see if you go into a big concert hall. The concerts are more intimate. Chamber music as an art form is actually it's often known as music between friends. And so I want to kind of break down that barrier between the stage and the audience so that people get to know the artists get to know the audience. All of our performers speak to the audience. We don't do program notes so that they all tell little stories and
Oh
anecdotes
my God,
about.
I love that. I was going to
Yeah.
applaud you for that. There's something to
Thank you.
that.
Well, it's something that I think if anybody's interested in Johannes Brahms and wants to know more about a particular string quartet that he wrote, you can look it up. But to learn what the artists themselves think of it and what makes it special for them and why they picked this program, why did they pick these pieces, and how do they fit together? I think there's something really that to me is more interesting, and it also provides a window into these people's personalities. So that's something that's important to me. We always pair our concerts with some sort of food or drink, whether it's a luncheon concert or a dinner concert or a reception afterwards. So it's an opportunity to get to know the performers without their instruments in front of them,
Right.
and get to talk to them. And we do some Q&A
Yep.
and all of these things because I think that if you can come to a concert and feel like you've really gotten to know somebody, not just what they say with their instrument, but gotten to know their personality, I think it makes for a much more rewarding experience.
I love it. Are you taking a lot of this into next year? So I know next year is a big year for you all, right? 30?
Yeah. 30th anniversary
Wow.
of Artist Series
Applause,
concert.
applause and
Yes,
things. And
I am excited about it. Can I just give like a little background
I would,
of the history
I would,
since a lot of people don't
yeah,
know?
yeah. How did you guys get to 30? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so the organization was founded by a woman named Lee Doherty Ross, and her husband Jerry Ross, and they lived in Milwaukee, and they moved to Sarasota, and Lee had actually been a Miss America contestant, and she was a unbelievable singer and pianist and performer. And so she had done concerts in her home in Milwaukee for many years. And so when she moved to Sarasota, she was talking to her husband and said, "Well, we should do concerts here too." And she knew tons of people, and so she would bring them down. And it's literally started in her living room.
Wow.
And they would do 4 concerts a year. And then they thought, okay, well, let's expand this a little bit. And they moved into the lobby of their building. And then they decided to make a 501c3 and turn it into a nonprofit. And the concerts kept growing and got more and more popular. And when I first moved to Sarasota, Lee reached out to me and invited me to one of those concerts in her living room. So
Wow.
I had seen it from almost the very beginning.
Wow.
And I was so taken by the idea of this sort of informal way of listening to music where you're around great people and you have a bite to eat and a glass of wine and get to schmooze and chit chat afterwards. And it was a really, really sort of special and unique experience and something that I hadn't really seen before. And so I had always followed the series and gone to concerts when I could. And when Joseph Holt was retiring as director, as my predecessor in 2022. I think it's 2022. I'm finishing up my 4th season, so maybe it was 2021, spring of 2021. Got to get that
It's
right.
all blur. It's all a
And
blur. I know,
yes,
trust me.
and I was actually the one that reached out to Joe and to Lee, actually, and I said, "Hey, I'd be interested in doing this? How would I get myself an interview? And so I interviewed with Marcy Miller, who's the executive director of Artist Series Concerts, and we had several discussions. I didn't really have any experience in artistic planning, but I was very interested in it, and I know a lot of people. And I've been working for, at that point, over 20 years with the Sarasota Orchestra. So obviously I'm quite immersed in the musical world, and I have a background in string chamber music, which was a big part of what I would be doing in terms of bringing programming to the series. And everybody decided to kind of give it a shot, and we've never looked back. It's been a really, really fun and exciting experience for me.
Wow. And now Marcy's retiring, and you're bringing in
Yes.
Karen Lafrac, who's an amazing lady who I've known for many years as well. I moved here in like 91. So I'm like the guy that's like the old native guy that's been like, well, I remember when there were bees on Bee
Yes.
Ridge. Yeah, I'm that
All
guy.
right.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the 30th is going to be like a little bit of a time capsule of where you've been, or are you thinking the 30th anniversary is this is the future? How are you thinking for 30?
I think some of both. I
Okay.
mean, it's important to celebrate the past, take stock of our beginnings and how we've gotten to this point. I think it's important to celebrate where we are, the current, the good things, and the excitement that that brought us to this point. And then I think it's really cool to talk about the future and look forward and think about how we can grow and expand and get even better. So the 30th anniversary does some of all of those things. We do bring in some artists that have performed with the series before. We have great concerts that I think people are going to love, and then I think it's a very forward-looking series in terms of season, in terms of how we move forward and trying to. Okay, so let me give a little background of what kinds of concerts
Yeah.
I'm talking about here, because I'm just
Yeah.
talking so generally.
Yeah, it's okay.
So basically, we feature programs that have 2 to 6 or 7 people on them. So these are not going to be large ensemble concerts. This is not going to be orchestra. So, and if you come, you will see that we're essentially a presenting orchestra. We have a combination of a presenting organization. We have a combination of people from that live here locally, but a lot of people that come from out of town, but maybe have some sort of connection here, which is something that I think is important. How do we tie into the Sarasota community? I don't want it to just feel like the people come in and then they leave, and then there's no
Connection.
buy-in in terms of making our community something special. And I think I've seen that with the performers that do come in that maybe hadn't been here before, and they see what a special place this is, and then they go out and they tell their friends, and
so on and so on and so on and so on, right? Yes.
and this is how Sarasota's gotten its title of arts community, arts capital, whatever you
we
want to
are the
say.
Cultural Coast, Daniel.
Cultural Coast.
Cultural
Yes.
Coast. Cultural
I
Coast.
know, I love it. Yeah. So I think it's one of those things where, it's a combination of trying to bring names that people might know, and then also people learning to trust me and my programming, that it might be something that they haven't seen before, but they are going to appreciate and as they get to know. So we have a lot of quartets next year. That's something that I think will be kind of fun for people. For instance, 3-string quartets of varying degrees of experience in the professional world. One quartet called the Dragon Boot. It's an all women ensemble. That's they just won the Coltman competition, and they are all students at the Juilliard School. So that's kind of one area of level of experience. So a student group that will come in and perform, but they're highly vetted because they've just won a big competition.
Hello. Yes.
And then the artists in residence at the Curtis Institute of Music, which is one of the great music conservatories in the world. And they are a pre-professional group. They've just started out. They're kind of embarking on their career. And they're just a couple of years out of school, but still working with, it's kind of a mentor, like a graduate group, graduate students at Curtis. And then the Fry Street Quartet, which is one of the great professional groups that's performing today, that's performed all over the world in Carnegie Hall and all of these places. So having that, dichotomy of musicians from all sorts of backgrounds, people that come to see several of the concerts or all of the concerts will see a whole variety of things. They'll see a variety of ages. They'll see a variety of backgrounds. Instruments. I like to feature all kinds of cool instruments, things that you might not have seen in a classical concert before. So there's some interesting things. There's a group called Astral Mixtape that incorporates electronics into they're all classical musicians, classically trained. They play classical stuff, but they have their own take on the music of Rachmaninoff and Stephen Sondheim and Andrew Lloyd Webber, and then they mix it with their own electronics. And so things like that I think are really, I think, fun for our audience to come and experience something that they might not have seen before.
How do you what's your website? Because I think you guys did a name change, about, was it 4 or 5 years ago?
Well, we did a not really we've always been Artist Series. We changed to Artist Series Concerts. So our website is www.artistseriesconcerts.org.
Okay. Artist Series Concerts.
So it's you can go there. You can see all of the concerts that we've done over the last 29 years. You can see our upcoming. It will be uploaded soon. It's not there yet, but it'll be uploaded soon. We're going to be announcing our 30th anniversary season. Brochures will be mailed this month, and the website will be good to go for people to buy tickets.
Woo.
And
that is exciting.
So, yeah, I'm really excited about the future and what's possible. And people that come to our concerts seem to really enjoy it, and they tell their friends, and they want to come back, which I think is
word of mouth is super important. So Daniel, we've been talking for 20 so minutes, and it's all music. I would love to know, was there ever another career? Was there ever something else that caught your eye and you went, oh, I could maybe take a detour here? Yes. Okay. You want to share?
Well, I would say that Artist Series Concerts has been that detour,
really,
for me, because even though it's still the same field, it's still music. What I had always done previously with my job with Sarasota Orchestra, and I'm also the principal second violinist of the Santa Fe Opera in the summer. I've always been a performer, and my role with Artist Series Concerts is I do perform some. Out of 25 concerts, I think I'm on 3 of them next year as a performer. But I'm an administrator. I'm the person that's behind the scenes, looking for interesting and cool things to bring other performers in to do. And that has been something that's it's been really exciting for me to get to do something different, there's a lot of logistics, as you know.
Oh my gosh, who are you talking to? Yeah, seriously.
Putting together even just one concert.
It's crazy. People don't realize it. And what you do, the one thing that I did really well, I think, is that I never let people see me freak out. Like you would see me being the expectant father, but I wasn't flop sweating and all that. People don't realize every minute there's something going wrong, and it's all in how you handle it.
And the best events are ones where you don't realize how difficult they were to put together.
Oh well.
So it's really, that's been a lot of fun for me to kind of learn the other side of the business and to be able to have artistic control and of what's being performed and being able to kind of stand behind those decisions to talk about, here's something that I think is going to be great, and then seeing the reaction of the audience,
That's right.
who almost all, every once in a while
Well,
you get a complaint, but
you've got to use the car dealership thing sometimes. Like when I've had customers, clients, patrons. Jeffrey, I'm not so sure. I'm like, okay, when you go to a car dealership, do you love every car? No, you enjoy certain cars better than other cars. I said, welcome to my world. I'm a car dealer.
yeah,
I
I
used that
also,
several times.
yeah, I also think that there's something to be said for pushing people, to giving them not everything that they, first of all, have heard before, maybe not everything in a concert that they're going to like, but giving them an experience of something different. I mean, great art is not always easy to listen to. It's not always easy to experience. Sometimes you see a painting and it's hard to look at. It's the same thing with music. Sometimes you hear something and uh it doesn't make the ears or the emotions. It's not easy listening. And I think it's important to keep pushing ourselves as artists, keep pushing ourselves as audience members to be open to new sounds, new ideas, new interpretations. And I actually, I don't mind when people say to me, oh, well, I love the concert, but I didn't like that one piece. And I say, that's okay.
Absolutely.
Because I think that it's important. And usually I can say, well, this is why the artist wanted to, or the performer wanted to play it. This is what it meant to them. And hopefully they will have spoken enough words to the audience that they will appreciate it a little more. Even if they don't love it,
right,
they will appreciate why it was played and
the
why
artistry behind it.
Yes.
It's great to sit and talk with you. Our paths have crossed, and this is the first time that, and here we are. And of course, our time is up already, which is just goes to show you what happens when you put a microphone in front of two guys who have a lot to talk about. So thanks so much for your time, and thank you. I guess maybe the clock is a good clock. It's a musical family, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how we all start. So so thanks for being a great part of Behind the Masterpiece. We appreciate having you.
Thank you. And I've always appreciated the work you've done in our community as well, Jeffrey, and it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Jeffrey Kin as a part of Visit Sarasota's Behind the Masterpiece. We love listening to our arts practitioners, and we want you to listen as well. So make sure you join us at sarasotapodcast.com, and we'll see you at the next interview.